Hello everyone, this is Noah, and today I'd like to talk a little bit about the idea of mixing and matching kata applications within a kata and between different kata. Previously, I've mentioned the idea that kata can have applications that are independent of each other, and it can also have applications that go in a sequential order. One technique leads to the next technique, leads to the next technique. But when you get to a point where that makes sense, you can actually start looking around to see how other parts of the kata may connect with the technique that you're doing. A lot of the time, you will do a technique in the kata and it will put you in a position from which you can do a wide variety of things. Not necessarily just the next technique in the kata. Maybe you want to do a technique that comes later in the kata, and it happens to fit from the position that you're in. You can do the technique because of the position that you've been put in, even though they don't go in order in the kata. The same thing can actually happen when we're looking at different kata. For example, if you're looking at a technique in nai-hanchi, and it just so happens that from the position you ended up in, when the opponent defends or moves, or your strike simply isn't as effective as you want it to be, the sweep doesn't work, whatever it is you're trying to do, the position you're in may take you into a technique from Pasai, or Kusanku, Shinto, Goju Shiho, any number of other kata. May not even be a kata from the same style. You may do a technique from Pasai and end up in Seiyunchin. These types of connections between kata exist somewhat coincidentally, and at the same time, it's not unexpected. The human body can only be used in so many ways, and you can only affect someone else's body in so many ways. So there are going to be a lot of things that just sort of naturally tie together when we're looking at fighting systems. So it shouldn't be terribly surprising that a technique in one kata can lead to a technique in another kata, or a technique at the beginning of a kata can lead to a technique that's at the end of the kata without going through all the stuff in the middle. These ideas can be a little bit hard to wrap your head around sometimes if you're looking at the kata as a style unto itself. And this is something that a lot of people like to do. They'll say, well, a kata is a system or a style unto itself. And so if I'm going to look at it as a holistic approach to fighting, I'm going to at least stay within that kata. So they may jump around within the kata, but they may not try making connections to other kata. And I feel that this can be a little bit limiting. If you start branching out more, seeing how things tie together within the curriculum of kata you practice, then you actually can give yourself a broader understanding of the different methodologies that exist within karate.